Let me first thank you for that nice introduction and your great leadership in so many different ways here in this country and in the globe for so long. And I really want to thank all the distinguished speakers who went before me this morning. Thank you all for your leadership, your vision, and for driving these important conversations about how we can strengthen the ties between India and the United States. And of course, thanks to everyone at USISPF for your incredible work. You've done a great job building bridges between the world's two largest democracies. Your organization is an indiscernible force for good, and it unites the business community, the nonprofit sector, and our two governments at a time when cooperation is essential. And most of all, for everyone tuning in from New York, I'm glad to be with all of you. I love New York's Indian American community. We have more South Asians, I believe, than any other metropolitan area. And the more South Asians, the more Indian Americans there are in New York, the better New York is. New York quite would not be the same without the Indian Americans who call our city, our state, and our metropolitan area home. And as you know, of course, New York is home to the largest community of Indian Americans in the country. And it's one of the reasons New York is growing and getting stronger. And I want to begin this morning by talking about how their experience, this experience of Indian Americans, directly influences and enriches our state. I firmly believe if you want to understand both the challenge and promise of the American dream in our time, look no further than the Indian American community here in New York. It's not just because the Indian American community has produced so many leaders in business and academia and technology and medicine and entertainment and politics, though that's true. It's not just that the Indian community has brought so many rich, diverse, vibrant customs from their homeland to our city. That's also true. It's because the Indian American community embodies what the American dream has always been about, of coming to the country, working hard, and when you work hard, you help yourselves, you build a better life for your children, but you also enrich New York and our country. And if any of you ever come to visit New York, you can see this in yourselves, whether it's strolling through Jackson Heights in Queens, or getting a dosa or a spicy vindaloo on Curry Hill, or attending the Diwali festival, or visiting the many vibrant temples, mosques, and Sikh community centers. Our city is defined by a very fundamental way by the Indian American experience. And we know, too, that discrimination against Indian Americans, against Asian Americans is not defeated. It all too often raises its ugly head against our sisters and brothers in South Asian and Asian communities. And that's why I was so proud to stand arm in arm with the Indian American community and so many others, and I made sure as majority leader to pass the anti-Asian hate crimes bill this year in the Congress. But no matter how you slice it, hate and discrimination are un-American. Bigotry against one is bigotry against all. We must and will confront it at every turn. But we've made a great deal of progress. This year, more Indian Americans are running for local office in New York than at any point in our history. I've spent time with many of these wonderful and talented people, from Kevin Thomas on Long Island to Jennifer Rajkumar and Shekhar Krishnan and Felicia Singh in Queens. On one hand, this is fantastic news and a hopeful sign of a more inclusive future in our city. But to date, New York still has not elected an Indian American to federal office. So this year's record number of candidates is a reminder of how much work we have to do. So in short, New York's so much better off because of our Indian American community. I've loved this community. I help this community. We have such a great, strong relationship. It's like this. And I've been proud to stand with the Indian American community my entire career in office because of the qualities that I've mentioned. And by the same token, America is a whole lot better off because of the long, strong, and crucial friendship between India and the United States. And that's what I want to talk about now. As we begin the third decade of the 21st century, as our two countries continue to fight against COVID, and as the world around us undergoes rapid transformation, India and the United States must continue working together to strengthen and maintain our partnership. As Majority Leader of the United States Senate, and I'm the first from New York ever, I will use my clout to make sure that America and India stay close together, that we create new opportunities in this century to prosper together, and that Indian Americans are given the full benefits of life in America free of discrimination. How can we accomplish this? Well, let me mention a few ways. First, we must continue cooperating to strengthen the economic ties that bind our two countries together. This means Congress must find opportunities to invest in the industries critical to both our countries, from biotech and semiconductors and information technology. These are good-paying jobs that strengthen both economies. But we also must work to break new grounds on the technologies that will shape life in the 21st century, from AI to cybersecurity, from 5G to other telecom technologies. Our rivals around the world are hard at work investing in these technologies, and they don't always have the values of democracy and self-rule that the US and India do. We need to beat them to the punch. For that reason, I'm proud to say that a few months ago, the Senate passed bipartisan legislation that I put together and helped pass through the Senate that would make historic investments in these technologies, and at the same time using those investments to bring our two countries closer together. That's so important. Now, as we work to strengthen our economic bonds, we also have to work together on our common defense. At a time when the forces of authoritarianism are making inroads across the world, it's vital that India and the US, the two large, prosperous, growing democracies, keep working together to stand up and proudly defend the right of all people to freedom and to equality. For decades, the United States and India have supported one another in the shared battle against terrorism. India, you were there for us in the US and New York when we were attacked on 9/11, and we likewise stood by our Indian allies when they were struck by the tragedy in Mumbai. By working together, we were able to bring the people who caused these terrible attacks to justice. Today, we face new and different challenges in the Indo-Pacific, challenges that implicate our two countries' security and the future of the global economy. Our shared experience has taught us the vital importance of constant vigilance and international cooperation, and the necessity continues today, especially in Southeast Asia. So I'm going to find ways for Congress to continue promoting our two countries' mutual defense, including working with the ASEAN and Quad members. Finally, I'll always fight to make sure we open the doors of opportunities for immigrants from India to come to the United States. My middle name is Ellis for Ellis Island. I believe in immigration so strongly, and I've long been a champion in the United States for comprehensive immigration reform. I'm committed as ever. And as I said, the more Indians that come to America, the better America is. The more Indians that come to New York, the better New York is. And that means I'm going to continue to forge policies that ensure a rational and steady stream of legal immigration, as well as our student visas, so people can study in America and enhance our universities and eventually our businesses, our nonprofits, and our neighborhoods. So friends, my dear Indian American friends, and my Indian friends as well, in closing, let me just say that there's probably never been a more important moment for the relationship between India and the United States than there is right now. If we hold true to our common values, if we create opportunities for economic growth, and if we provide for our common defense, I believe the next generation can truly enjoy a world of prosperity built on the strength of the two largest democracies on earth. I promise I will do all I can to achieve that noble goal. Thank you very much for the great work you do and for your time today.